Howdy, and welcome back to Tiny Tim's Talk Show. We're on the air with Emily Hill, Connecticut resident bug expert, a professor at the University of Connecticut. Thanks for being on the show today, Emily.
Thanks for having me.
So here there are 3 types of bugs Connecticut gardeners and greenhouse owners should really be on the lookout for. Mind telling us about them?
Not at all. The first of them is the whitefly, known as Trilordus vaporiarum in the scientific world, and it's a large problem in many greenhouses. With yellowish bodies and white wings that are covered in wax in the adult stages, whiteflies are most distinguishable in their last nymphal stage, when they are wingless. Developing most rapidly in warm weather, whiteflies infest mostly landscape plants, more specifically fruit trees. Whiteflies suck the phloem sap out of plants and secrete honeydew, which attracts ants. They cause leaves to turn yellow, appear dry, and fall off. They can also cause stickiness and a black, sooty mold that negatively affects the plant. There are many various methods for control and prevention. Insecticides can be used, though they have a limited effect on whiteflies. Insecticidal soaps and oils usually work better in especially troublesome situations. Yellow, sticky traps placed around the garden and greenhouse can help ensnare adults, and removing leaves infested with the non-mobile nymphal and pupal stages helps. Whiteflies also have many natural predators such as lady beetles, scales, and ants. Aluminum foil and reflective plastic mulches can repel whiteflies. Vacuuming the adults off of an infected plant's leaves has been known to work as well. Don't use pesticides, though, because the whiteflies can develop a resistance to them, which can make the situation even worse. Snails and slugs are seen in almost every garden. Scientifically recognized as mollusk phylum, these pests infect all sorts of turfgrass and landscape plants. Both the snail and slug are similar in structure and biology, with one muscular foot that they glide on and slimy mucus. Snails or slugs are primarily pests of seedlings and herbaceous plants. They are serious pests to ripening fruits that are close to the ground, such as strawberries, artichokes, and tomatoes. They will chew irregular holes in leaves and flowers and will chew on fruit as well as young plant bark, leaving behind silvery mucus trails. Putting ingredients such as metaldehyde, methiocarb, and iron phosphate into food bait is one control method. Homemade traps are a way to capture slugs that crawl in seeking a haven as well. Inverted orange halves, pots, containers of beer, and wooden boards work best for this. Birds, beetles, and other small mammals and bugs all act as natural predators of the slug. One can also use organic methods such as placing oat bran or soot out in the garden to kill off slugs or snails. Slugs also won't cross copper because it gives them an electric charge, so barriers made of copper will prevent them from crossing into areas where they are unwanted. Slugs are most active at night and love warm, moist weather. The best way to control them is to check for their presence regularly and apply slug bait when needed. The third species of bug is the spider mite. Hundreds of species of spider mites exist, but the 2-spotted spider mite is the most common, known as Tetranchius or Tissae. This spider mite features 2 dark spots on each side of its body, with 2 front legs extending out further than the others. Spider mites are really tiny and only look like a grain of sand to the naked eye. Without a microscope, all one would be able to detect would be movement. A spider mite infestation is usually indicated by brown or yellow flecks on leaves and webs on leaves. Severe infestations will lead to leaves being totally scorched. Spider mites damage plants by sucking out the contents of the cells in the leaves. High levels of spider mites can cause permanent damage in plants, especially herbaceous ones. Predatory mites are natural enemies of the spider mite. If favorable conditions for naturally occurring predators are created, they will feed on the spider mites without feeding on foliage or becoming pests. Insecticidal soap or oil usually works better than insecticides, which usually cause spider mites to become an even bigger problem. Oils and soaps must contact mites to kill them, so be sure to cover plants thoroughly. While these pests usually have a bigger effect on landscape plants, both evergreen and deciduous, they can impact turf grass as well, so be sure to continually monitor whatever you are growing.
Well, that concludes this week's Tiny Talk Show. See y'all later. Bye!